Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive right into the top stories making headlines today. A federal judge has blocked New York City's effort to recover $80.5 million in FEMA grants intended for housing illegal immigrants. The judge ruled that the city failed to prove irreparable harm and may still recover the funds if it wins the lawsuit. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had pulled the FEMA funds, claiming they were used to house a criminal in the Roosevelt Hotel, which had become a crime base, and they have a lot of evidence to prove that. New York City sued to recover the money, arguing that the clawback sidestepped congressional intent. The Justice Department argued that the funds pause was justified due to ongoing investigations. President Trump's team has reportedly engaged in secret talks with Ukrainian opposition members, including former Prime Minister Yulia Tomoskino, to support a potential political transition in Kiev. Democratic Representative Jerry Golden had urged President Zelensky to hold new elections to strengthen his mandate for negotiating peace amid criticism from Trump for being a, quote, dictator without elections, which is true. He canceled the elections last year in Ukraine. These discussions have focused on the possibility of holding quick presidential elections despite concerns about chaos and manipulation due to martial law. Trump officials believe Zelensky would lose an election because of war fatigue and public frustration over corruption. The situation has sparked further tension and scrutiny of U.S. and Ukrainian leadership dynamics. The House of Representatives have censored Democratic Rep. Al Green for disrupting President Trump's speech to Congress. Green, who stood up and shouted during the address, was ejected from the chamber. The censure resolution introduced by Rep. Dan Newhouse passed with a vote of 224 to 198, including 10 Democrats voting in favor. I mean, because it's just obnoxious. You should not behave like that during a presidential address. Green defended his action, stating he was protesting Trump's plan to cut Medicaid, which he argued would harm poor people relying on the program. Even though Trump emphatically said that he's not going to touch Medicaid, Democrats continue to push that lie. But Green has also been vocal about his opposition to Trump's Gaza takeover plan and has served 11 terms representing Texas' 9th Congressional District. Hunter Biden is seeking to dismiss a lawsuit against former White House aide Garrett Ziegler, citing financial distress. Biden's attorney, Brian M. Sullivan, claims that Hunter's financial situation has worsened due to the January wildfires in Pacific Palisades, which rendered his rental home unlivable. Okay, so it's a rental home, so you don't really own it. And what happened to all that money that you laundered? Where's all those millions of dollars? Hunter's income has significantly declined with reduced art and book sales, and he is struggling to find permanent housing. The filing also mentions that Hunter cannot borrow more money and is reassessing other pending lawsuits due to limited resources. This situation highlights the aggressive litigation strategy previously employed by Hunter and his legal team against critics. House Republicans are pushing the Deportation Compliance Act, which aims to penalize countries that refuse to accept their deported citizens. The bill, sponsored by Texas GOP Rep. Chip Roy, would withhold all foreign assistance to governments that either outright refuse or take longer than 6 months to accept deportees. How about we get rid of aid altogether? That's what I mean, we have to fix our country. How are we still borrowing money to give to other countries? That makes absolutely no sense to me. The legislation is intended to address the challenges faced by federal officials in carrying out immigration law, as many migrants from recalcitrant countries are released back into American communities due to detention capacity limitations. The bill has garnered support from various organizations and is co-sponsored by 13 Republican members. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has called on the Justice Department to investigate President Biden's mental capacity in his final days in office. Bailey claims that Biden's staff may have exploited his mental decline to issue orders without his approval. I remember they asked him about something that executive order that he'd done before, and he had no idea what they were talking about. He is particularly concerned about a series of pardons Biden granted, including for convicted murderers in Missouri. Bailey suggests that if Biden was unaware of these actions, the orders should be considered null and void. The situation raises broader questions about the legitimacy of decisions made during Biden's presidency and potential exploitation of his aides. A Boston-based startup, Brown Foods, is set to introduce Unreal Milk, a lab-grown milk product funded indirectly by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The company claims that Unreal Milk replicates the nutrition, taste, and texture of traditional dairy products without using cows. Y'all know I won't touch anything that has to do with Bill Gates. The production method reportedly reduces carbon emissions, water use, and land use significantly. Yeah, right. These chemically created stuff can't be good for you. But the product is undergoing lab validation and is expected to debut in the American food supply soon. The startup has secured $2.36 million in seed funding and aims to offer a scalable, sustainable alternative to conventional milk. That's ridiculous. I would advise against using something like this. The Democratic National Committee has appointed Roger Lau, a controversial figure with a history of supporting far-left ideologies, as its executive director. Now, mind you, people have been criticizing the DNC for their for not having any moderate voices and pushing the progressive agenda. And instead of changing, they're doubling down on that. Lau has been involved in promoting progressive causes and has previously signed a letter condemning the United States for its foundations of racism and genocide. He has also opposed resolutions criticizing the Chinese Communist Party and has been linked to hidden messages in Senator Elizabeth Warren's speeches supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. Lau's appointment aims to strengthen grassroots organizations and messaging to help Democrats win elections, but it has sparked criticism from conservatives who believe the DNC has not learned from its past electoral losses, which is what I was just alluding to. But let them continue to do that, and they'll continue to lose elections. The Trump administration may pursue criminal charges against USAID staffers following a Department of Government Efficiency investigation that revealed severe abuses in foreign aid programs. USAID Deputy Administrator Pete Morocco briefed the House Foreign Affairs Committee on the findings, suggesting that criminal referrals could be made for misconduct. The investigation uncovered fraud and inappropriate use of American taxpayer dollars due to USAID's decentralized accountability system. The Supreme Court recently declined to overturn a lower court's ruling that unfroze federal spending contracts at USAID, frustrating President Trump's efforts to audit the agency. Conservatives are calling for legal action against Senator Adam Schiff for his role in promoting the debunked Russia collusion narrative during President Trump's first term. Remember how he said he had all this evidence, and never put forth any evidence? Multiple investigations, including those by John Durham and Robert Mueller, found no evidence supporting the claim. Influencers like Nick Sorter and Paul A. Sapula, along with former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino, have voiced their support for holding Schiff accountable. He should be held accountable for these lies and propaganda that he's been pushing. The appointment of Kash Patel as FBI director has intensified these calls, as Patel is known for uncovering the hoax. The situation highlights ongoing tensions and the desire for accountability in political narratives. Lastly, Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah is backing Representative Thomas Massie bill to abolish the Federal Reserve. Y'all know I've been talking about getting rid of the Federal Reserve for years. The proposed Federal Reserve Board Abolition Act calls for a 1-year wind down of the Fed's board of governors and its numerous Federal Reserve banks. Mind you, these are privately owned companies, which are blamed for the U.S. dollar's decline, inflation, and national debt spiral. Lee's support comes as Massie introduced the End the Fed bill last March, arguing that the Fed's actions during COVID-19, including creating trillions of dollars out of thin air, led to high inflation, which it did. President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, has also expressed interest in dismantling the Fed or replacing board members with fiscally conservative leaders who would institute audits and reforms. But y'all know I'm for just getting rid of the reserve altogether. Well, that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.